But let's get into it, man. Let's get into it. Let's everybody in here, close your eyes. Lord, we come right now to your throne of grace, God. We come thanking you, blessing you, lifting you up, glorifying you, God, worshiping you. God, we can't do this without you. If we go through this whole motion, and you never set foot here, it'll be in vain. And everything we've done up to this point will be irrelevant. So God, I pray right now, God, that everything that happened up until this point you're pleased with. And God, don't let me drop the ball. I pray right now, God, that you speak through me. Let me be like the prophet Jeremiah. I feel sometimes that I don't know what to say. But God, I know that if you said if I just position myself that you'll speak through me. And my experiences have been you've done that in times past. I don't think you'll fail me now. I ask, God, that you just let me be led by your outline, not my own. I release my free will now to do your will. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. The words, the 7 last words that coming from is Luke chapter 23, verse 46. King James Version simply says, Father, into your hands I commend my spirit. I'm reading from the New American Standard Bible. Verse 46, and Jesus crying out with a loud voice said, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And having said this, he breathed his last breath. The message is simply, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. But the subtitle, this is why I'm just like blown away, because I really wasn't trying to do a subtitle, but it's simply, it hurt, but it's necessary. It hurts, but it's necessary. I imagine that, Christ growing up, always being the blessed child that he was, you got to think he came into this world bearing gifts. When first he was first born, people was bringing him gifts. So I believe that in his life, he had this thing where he knew he was a little bit different. It's a little bit different. There was prophecies and promises that was a part of his makeup, of who he was. And as Bishop said earlier, that he was familiar with the scriptures. He was familiar with these things being fulfilled. I believe that he got to a point, and I'm just going to be real with you here, because a lot of us are here now. We got to a point where he's lived his life, and now we just, fast forward here, and I'm like Pop, I like to imagine he's on the cross. He's on the cross, and on the cross he's thinking back on his life. And a lot of us have gotten to a point where, when we're growing up, we know what we want to accomplish, we know what we want to do in life. And as life goes on, we start seeing these things come to pass and come to fruition. We start seeing these things come to pass. And we know that God, people have said to us over and over, God's going to bless you in this, and you're anointed and you're gifted. And we've gotten to a place where Christ was on the cross, and he said, I don't think it was supposed to be like this. It's a place where he knew that he had a place, a thing he had to fulfill, but I don't think he actually could imagine the pain and the suffering that went along with the promise and the purpose. A lot of us are in a place where we're sitting there and we know what God has said we're going to do, and we see it happening, but right now we're on the cross. We're in the place right now where we're right at the point where we're about to tip into our purpose, but the thing is the pain we didn't anticipate. We're sitting there, and I imagine Christ being on the cross, and he felt like, I don't think it was supposed to be like this. It wasn't supposed to be this bad. I know God, you sent me down here, you said I'm going to save the world, and I know that I will be, crucified. I know that on the third day I'll rise again. But in the moment right now, I'm sitting here on this cross, and I feel the nails in my hands. I feel the thorns on my head, and I feel the nail through my feet, and I don't think it's supposed to be like this. Which caused him to cry out, Father, why have you forsaken? You didn't show me all this. You didn't show me all this. You showed me the fulfillment of the promise, but you didn't show me all this. You didn't let me live through the pain before I got to this place. Now you sit here, and he's in a place where he's like, I can't move from where I'm at. I'm on a place where I said, God, I was in the garden, and I had an opportunity to walk away from it, but I took the cup. when I had opportunity to walk away from it, I took the cup because I knew there were some great things that had to come out of me. I knew there were some people that was depending on me. And when I had an option and an opportunity to say, let this cup pass, I took the cup. So now after I took the cup, you let the process start for me. Now I'm sitting on this cross and I'm feeling this pain, and I'm like, I don't think it's supposed to be this bad. I got beat. I don't think it's supposed to be this bad. And I believe he was on a cross and he felt betrayed. He felt like, this is too much for me to bear. Felt like at that moment when God sent them down, I felt like he was in a moment where he like, hold on, wait a minute. All this right here, I didn't know it was going to be this hard. Now, we look at Christ, understand that he is God's son, and he was conceived without sin. But yet you got to understand why God sent his son down here, so he can understand his human creation. So with that being the case, he had the human feelings just like we have now. He ain't no different. I believe that he had that moment where he was like, this is too much for me to bear. And he cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? You can imagine him on the cross looking back over his life, arms stretched out. And then he's looking down at his mom, and he flashes back to when he was little. And he was just running around playing and helping his dad do different things. And I imagine him just flashing back to the moments in his life as he's got older. And as he became older, God started becoming more real in his life, and he started doing things and feeding the 5,000 and raising the dead and all these things. And he's playing it back in his mind on the cross as he hear people talking about. I believe he wasn't in that conversation. He was there, but he wasn't. I believe he was just playing it back in his mind. How did I get here? In this place where I am. I understand that, the cross is a thing that's, once it's there, it ain't moving. Once they put that in the ground, but ain't no, picking up and moving it. Once you own it, you own it. And I always question, like, why the cross? There was different ways of executing somebody back then. And that was one of the most humiliating and painful ways of dying. So why the cross? Why was he nailed to a cross in a place where he couldn't move? Why couldn't it just be something quick like John the Baptist was beheaded? So why couldn't it just be done just like that? Then that's when God started speaking about why the cross. God had to put him in a place on the cross. So in the midst of all this pain that he's dealing with, he put him in a place where he couldn't pull himself down. Nails in his hands, nails in his feet. And to put him in a place where he can't pull himself down. Why? Because if I give him, I need him to be in the place where he's conscious enough to know what's happening. Be in a place where he's conscious enough to make decisions based off where he is right then and there. I did put him in a place where I know exactly where he is at all times. Some of us have gotten to a place where we're on that cross right now. We had a decision to make, and we made the decision that God, for you, I'm going to live and I'm going to die and I'm going to serve you, and from this moment on, I'm going to fulfill my purpose. And when you say I'm fulfilling my purpose, he said, all right. Now you start taking that walk with that burden on your back. And you was carrying that burden because as you walked, you felt the weight of the world on you. You got to a place where he said, all right, now put the cross down. Now, lay down on top of it. And as you laid there, he nailed you. And you felt the pain of every decision. You felt the pain of every moment as that nail hit your hand. You felt the pain. It's pain and purpose. Purpose and pain, they go together. You felt the pain. And you sat there. Now, come on, if you're a person, you're Christ, and you feel that first nail going in, human nature say self-preservation, get up. But there was something inside you said, I got to fulfill this purpose. So you sat there and you let them nail you. You let them make accusations against you. You let them set you up at your job. They let you let things happen in your life, and you just sat back and you let that nail go in your hand. Knowing that this has to be done for this purpose to be fulfilled. Now they put the nail in your hand, they stretched you out. Now here you thought, I had a moment to breathe. Then here it come again. And then here comes some more accusations and things coming against you, against your family, against your ministry, against your character. And you sat there and you took it. When they was nailing him on the cross, there was people saying things about him. And come on, you're supposed to be the Son of God. They was talking to him at the same time. They tell you, now cross your feet. And they take your feet and they cross them. And this moment, you know, when they hit me, I'm not going anywhere. I can't go anywhere. Once this thing happened right here, I can't go anywhere. I'm reaching the last part of the process. They're about to raise me up. And then once I get raised up, it's going to be hard for me to breathe. I feel like I'm suffocating, trying to fulfill the purpose. God, it wasn't supposed to be like this. And they raise you up. And God sees you. And you feel that drop. And you take the breath. He said, I got you here because I need you to fulfill purpose. Well, God, what's the purpose? I thought I fulfilled purpose by coming to the cross. That's not the purpose. The purpose wasn't the cross. The cross was a vehicle to fulfill the purpose. So don't get it twisted. Don't think that once you got in the cross, that right now, you know, because that ain't it. Right now, you're at the point where you see it. Christ was elevated above everybody else on the skull, on a rock that said higher. So when he raised up, don't you think he saw it coming? And a lot of us right now, in a place where you're raised up and you see the purpose being fulfilled, and you see it coming. You see things start playing out. So you said, let me get my 7 last words in. You feel it in your spirit. Everything is lining up with the scriptures. You read the word. You know what God said he would do. And you've been following certain scriptures that each of us have, God has put in our spirit since we was younger. And we've been holding on to it. And as we got older, we start seeing that thing line up in our life. So now you're on the cross and you see that scripture being fulfilled and you see it's coming. But he don't want to let go to allow the thing to be fulfilled. Because see, in order for him to fulfill, to get the supernatural, eternal power, he had to give up one thing that was the greatest thing, the most valuable thing to us. He had to give it up. And that was his life. On the cross, he laid there. He said, you must give up your life so that you may live more abundantly. Christ. I can hear God just saying to him, Christ. He said, well, Christ said to his father, Father, why have you forsaken me? And then his answer probably was, listen, you have to give up your life that you may live more abundantly. All the things that you saw will happen if you give up your life. See, we say all the time, you know, and my wife put this on Facebook one time. She said, we say, you know, I give my life away. It's easy to say it. But when you're on the cross, and he say to you that either you're going to give up your life to fulfill this purpose, or you're going to suffer. The process where he had to make the transition. It hurt, but it was necessary. I'm sure he didn't anticipate the pain involved with this sacrifice. He didn't anticipate how bad it would hurt. He didn't anticipate it. Some of us got to a place where we know I have to work hard to fulfill the promise, to get the ministry going, fulfill a purpose, to get the anointing. I have to work hard. He said, but I know the sacrifice portion, the pain portion, we didn't anticipate that. He had to give his father his life to defeat the laws of physics. A lot of us are walking testimonies of how in our life we defeated the laws of physics. And when you go to a point where you give up your life, God will start doing supernatural things that physics and scientists can't comprehend. How are you able to come back to life? How are you able to defeat leukemia? How are you able to defeat cancer? How are you able to come from a neighborhood that everybody in that neighborhood, 95% of them didn't make it out, but how did you come out of that and become successful to the point where you all over everything? The laws of physics say that you ain't supposed to be here. The law of statistics say you ain't supposed to make it out. How are you going to come from the hood and be a crack addict and come out here and be preaching, saving souls? The laws of physics say you ain't supposed to do it. Because somebody somewhere got on the cross and gave up their life. Gave up their life. He said, it hurts. But God is saying, give me the very thing that's most valuable to you. Your life. No, for real. No, for real. No, for real. No, I'm not just saying this to get the amen. I'm talking for real. He's saying, if you want to get this thing, if you want to get off this cross, because see, the choice is this. Either you're going to stay on the cross and deal with the pain and fulfill your purpose, or you're going to walk away from it. And that's the odds you got right now. Where you're either going to stay on the cross and have the pain and fulfill purpose, or you're going to walk away from everything that God has promised. And that's exactly where you are. If you decide not to take it, you just say, I'm getting off this cross. I'm done. I'm through with it. Come with me. I'm not dealing with it no more. I'm sick and tired of this pain. I don't even want to fulfill purpose no more. And you got those who stay on the cross. You got those who stay on the cross and get ridiculed and persecuted and beat and spit on and just get abused, and they stay there and they say, people are watching them. Why don't you bring yourself down off the cross? Then you say to yourself, no, I got a purpose I got to fulfill. There's something that's happening that you can't see because you're on the ground, but I see something coming. I see the angels of my Lord coming to save me, so I'm going to stay on this cross. Then you got those who step down, wondering why favor rests in your life. You got ones that step down and just can't seem to get it right because they haven't got to a point where we all are, and some have already did it. They say, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. God said, I'm going to let you hang there until you're sick and tired of yourself. Because most of the pain that you feel, it ain't the pain from the nail going through your hand. That pain your body has already come to grips with. The pain you're feeling, the pain you fighting yourself on the cross, tearing the muscles even more. The nail is there. Your mind has already comprehended there's something in my hand that's not supposed to be there. So the pain you're feeling right now is you on the cross fighting with yourself, trying to fight this thing away. Maybe if I can just wiggle, just make it more comfortable. And as you try to make it more comfortable, you're making the pain hurt even more. God said, just give it up. When you get sick and tired of yourself, you're going to sit here and say, God, I'm sick and tired of me. Into your hands I commit this spirit. Christ got to a place where he said, you know what? I'm going to give up this life. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm sick and tired of people talking about me. I'm sick and tired of folk believing that I'm not. Up until the point where he was on the cross, they still mocking him, putting a sign over his head. This is the King of Jews. I'm sick and tired of people talking about me, thinking that you ain't going to do what you said you're going to do. I'm sick and tired of people saying, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? Why don't you do this? God, I'm sick and tired of it. I'm sick and tired of myself. So when you get to that point, you're on the cross, you simply say, You simply say, God, for real, I commit my spirit to you. And then when you do, like a wind will come through there where you are, suck the breath that you breathe, the fleshly breath you breathe out your body. At that point, everything changes. He says, that's all I was waiting for. Because when that happened, that thing started shaking. The storm started coming. Folks started scattering. What's going on? What's going on? You got folk around you right now, like Pop said, they got the haters, you got the enemies, they watching you. See if this fool can get off this cross. They watching you. Let me see this. Let me see if he's going to do what he said he's going to do. You know? And they watching you in pain. Because see, the devil made a bet that you'll step down off the cross. If Christ would have stepped down on us, where would we be? What would this building be we're sitting in right now? Who would we be talking about right now? What 7 last words of what man or woman would be speaking right now if he got off the cross? The millions and millions of people that say I'm a Christian. All because he stayed on the cross. So it goes back to this. There's people that are connected to you right now. Some are watching you on the cross because they need to tell people what God did through you. Then you got enemies that's watching you right now because they think they got the upper hand on you. But see, God got the people around you right now because they need to tell people too. Your other enemies, you don't want to mess with that one, man. For real, I seen him on the cross and he was like, you know, and he committed. And the next thing I know, things start shaking. Everything started, just leave him alone. Just leave him alone. Leave him alone. Leave him alone. It's a scripture that says that God's prepared a table for your enemies, right? And wasn't one of his enemies gathered around the table, watching him on the cross? And at that moment, things happened and they realized who he really was. So that's where we are right now. You have to say, Father, into your hands I commit my spirit. And maybe some people right now is not even saved in here. And you're going through the same process. You're feeling the pain right now. And God said, when you get sick and tired with yourself, give me your spirit and I'll take care of it. Give me your spirit and I'll take care of it. Commit your spirit into my hands. Let me handle it. Let me handle it. Now I believe that's where we are right now spiritually. We're in that place right now where we're on the cross and you feel pain. You ain't crazy. You ain't the only one feeling the pain, man. If you can look in your spiritual eyes and see there's many skulls of crosses just gathered across the world of Christians that are standing there in pain, crying out. And if you could just glance, you'll see some getting down. I can't do it. Now you see some with the head up, giving it up, saying, God, I commit my spirit to you. The question is, what will you do? Because there's somebody that's watching you, that's waiting on you, that needs you to stay up there. Because the truth be told, if everybody could have did it, then there would have been many more Christs that came before and after. Only one man could carry that burden for a people. That's why ain't nobody up there with you. Because you have to carry the weight that God has given you. And people that can't handle it and God ain't called to it are looking at you and depending on you. Don't get down. It hurts me to see you up there, but don't get down. Because I know that when you rise on that third day, it's going to happen. God going to bring you back. I know you're going down, but God going to bring you back. Just don't give up right now. Because you forgot he did rise. But I'll talk about that on Sunday. He did rise. After he gave up the spirit, he did rise. And when he got up, he had a new body. Was no scars, right? Yeah. You know what I'm talking about. You know where I'm coming from. You on the cross and you battling right now. Right? But you going to rise again when you get up, man. You ain't going to be able to see your scars. But the thing is, you'll have all power for whatever God has called you to in your hand.
Thank you.